All right, the watch list for Friday. Well, you know what? Before I get started, let me clarify what a watch list means, because here's a little window into the life of me. I just took a screenshot of Mr. I can't even say it without laughing. Hey Nugget posted on StockTwits. Hey, at Great Stock Picks, your NVGN forecast is brilliant. Dot 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 dot. Well, I'm not going to count like maybe 15 dots. Not okay. So which immediately takes me back to junior high. But my response is I don't make forecasts. I build watch lists and then trade accordingly. I actually made a couple $100 on NVGN today, even though it didn't break out like I wanted it to. So I'm a day trader. I build a watch list and then I trade if the watch list stocks give me a setup that I look for intraday. So somebody who thinks these watch lists are forecasts either hasn't been trading very long, or if they have, they just don't get it. Which is fine, but geez, it's fun being me. All right, here we go. EJ, very nice volume pop today and closed at its high, so super strong. This one might just be a continuation day. I'd like maybe an initial pullback in a red to green or something like that, but you got to have EJ on watch after the day like today. ASPS. I was watching this for like a month after this pop. This doesn't look like much, but it went from 1776 to 3288 this day, which was January 16th. All right, and then it's just done nothing, meandered down lower. Well, then today, really nice volume and closed near its high. So 2275 was today's high. I'm going to actually write in my notes 2276. Over that, this one might get popping. And this, it's a lower float and a lot of shorts. So this one, as you can see back here, can really move, but it's whippy and spready. So I'll only take that under the best of conditions and the best of setups. But ASPS deserves to be on a watch list. That's not working. Let's try that again. ANY. Bear with me one second. All right, ANY, that's a big volume spike for this one. And I want to watch this just like the other two. I want to watch it for a potential follow-through day. FTK. Potential bounce. Nice bounce back here off of 14 and a lot of support right in this area. So, if we get a flush down to 14, I'll be looking for an intraday bounce setup. That is FTK. So that goes on bounce watch. VLTC. Let's be very clear again. I'm not saying it's time for VLTC to bounce. I have no idea. Everyone and their mother realizes this was plumb stupid right here. The fact that it got almost to 22, right? When it was a penny stock like a few weeks before. And I wouldn't be surprised in another month to see this right back where it started. But this confounded short so bad for for this whole run, not to mention this and the next morning when it just kept going. I'm sure that destroyed a lot of shorts that just kept, because it doesn't make sense, and I'll be the first to admit. But the market almost never makes sense, so I don't trade based on that, all right? Okay, so having said that, it had such a huge move, and now you've got two big red days. I don't know where it's going to bounce, but this one is going to be on bounce watch. If it doesn't bounce tomorrow or doesn't give me an intraday setup, it'll be on bounce watch Monday. It'll be on bounce watch Tuesday, because one of these days it could give me the perfect setup, and I might get a quick $2 or $3 trade out of it. Okay, doesn't cost me anything to have it on a chart. What would I like to see? Maybe one scenario. I wouldn't mind to see a gap down and an initial sell-off, and then a push through the opening price, right, for a long, or just a trade in a narrow range for this thing, which would be like probably $1 for most of the day, and then an upside break in the afternoon. That would be another scenario where we could get a really nice trade in a short period of time. And that's what I look for, guys. I always look for something that if it hits my trigger price, I should get a quick move, right? Within minutes, and it should be a decent move. And so what I do is I sit in cash until I have a setup like that. And so that has served me so well in this market. And it took me years to figure out just to be patient and not be in a trade unless it's one of my A+ setups, and then I get busy on it, okay? So anyway, that's what I've been doing. It's been working great. ROSG, and I always try to focus on stuff that's had recent high relative volume, okay? ROSG, really nice move here. Then it consolidated for a few days. Well, now you've got 3 days lower. you're near the 20-day, it might be time for this to bounce. Again, doesn't cost me anything to have it on a chart, so I'm just looking for an intraday setup. Remember, I'm in cash every night. I don't hold anything overnight. Don't even hold my wife overnight, all right? I am in cash every night, and then I look for these intraday trades. So I'm not looking at any of these charts for multi-day runs. I'm looking for trade setups for tomorrow intraday. I know I say that in almost like every video and it becomes redundant, but every video I make could be somebody's first time watching one of my videos, so I always had to be aware of that. Novagen, NVGN, just another day down. Like I said, I did get a little bounce in this one today, and then I was back out, and it didn't follow through. And you know, trading defensively, I took a scalp on some, tightened the stop, and was flat on the rest. So I made a couple $100 in it. And that was going long on a red day. Now it's getting close to the 20-day. This one has had such a huge move, and now it's down significantly off its highs that I want to watch that one for a bounce too. IBIO. Very nice setup here. You had it's a cheaper stock, obviously. You had a spike back here to $1.32. Long consolidation at about 80 cents. All right, then you had a spike to $1.12. About a week later, a spike to $1.07, and then today started to get some heat near the end of the day with a high of $1.03. So here's some catalysts for you. $1.04 would be a break of today's high. Could easily push you to $1.08, which would be a break of this high, which could easily push you to, you know, the momentum from those could push you to that $1.13, and above $1.13, you know, anything's possible. $1.20, $1.30, $1.40. So this is a pretty good setup, and you can see what this thing did back here. So this is a great candidate for a long. And my initial entry, assuming, you know, somewhat of a flat open, would be $1.04, looking for those other catalysts to get knocked down. And anything can happen. It might gap up tomorrow, might gap down, and that can change things. I take everything on an intraday basis after finding the daily charts I like. NYMX. Actually, I have my best trade in this one today, and it still looks really good. You had this spike, then another big spike, a couple days lower, and a nice green day today. I'll show you real quick on an intraday basis. I called this kind of as a red to green. I think I called it at 132 when it looked like this. I already had it on bounce watch. 132 was, I figured, would get us a red to green and probably a high of day break. So got in at 132, and within 5 minutes it almost went to 150. That's a huge percentage gain. And made my day, all right? And then it actually closed pretty strong. So this one could easily rip one of these days. Again, I like the setup on it very much. That's NYMX. SZYM. Had this on bounce watch today, and it closed near its highs. I never took a trade in it, but you know, it seems to have found support at the 8-day. This one might, you know, this was a really nice move back here. Clean pullback on lower volume, and then today turned green. So I want to watch SZYM. DGLY. This goes back on watch. This is more of a swing trade idea coming from a person who doesn't swing trade, but it did hold the 20-day and a decent little pop today on a little extra volume. Again, Taser very strong. Okay, same space somewhat. Digital cameras, both companies, and Taser also has the zapper weapons, right? But my thesis still, I think another state, Maryland, is talking about mandatory body cameras for all police. South Carolina is talking about it. That's 2 out of 50 states. So that's the news I'm looking for, is states mandating their police officers to wear body cameras. This thing will be much, much higher. Picture it if all 50 states, and just picture a federal mandate coming out, or even a law being proposed, could really spike DGLY. I'd be terrified to be short this thing. Now, I have nothing to gain by telling you this. It's my thesis. I could be wrong. Hey Nugget will let me know if I'm wrong, but that's my thesis. And again, I don't own a share of this. You know, if I were a swing trader, I would be starting a position. Actually, I said I would have started a position probably a few days ago. But it really is starting to look good. And with Taser strength, I fully believe this thing's going to be much, much higher. Unfortunately, I'm a day trader, so all I can do is try to see if news comes out intraday and maybe make a nice trade in it. And then I'm going to throw Gene, G-E-N-E, back on watch again. You know, it closed below its open today, but if it gets through today's high, which was 506, gets to 507, you got another catalyst from yesterday's high of 521, and it could be back off to the races. I mean, right now you've got, you know, you had this pullback all the way down to whatever this was, then you had a nice pop, then you had a higher low, higher high. This could be another higher low, so keep your eyes on Gene as well. and that is more than enough for me to watch, and we'll play some gappers hopefully in the morning. This morning I did not have a gapper candidate that met my parameters, so had to fight it out on just the regular watch list, which I still did really well today. So anyway, I'll quit babbling. Have a great night, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.